this was a very interesting fight we had. On January 1st of 2013, just a couple weeks ago, if nothing was done, if Congress did not agree and pass a piece of legislation and the president agreed to sign it, then there was going to be a $500 billion tax increase for 2013. It would have been a $5 trillion tax increase over the next decade. So if nobody did anything, $5 trillion tax increase over the decade. So what did happen? The Republicans in the House and the Democrat-controlled Senate passed legislation which made the Bush tax cuts permanent for 85% of the value amount of the Bush tax cuts and for 99% of the American people. And what this does, of course, is that it takes a temporary set of tax cuts that were temporary and had to be extended each several years, made them permanent. So the advocates of lower taxes made 100 steps forward and then 15 steps back over the last 13 years. But Obama and the Democrats had opposed all of the Bush tax cuts, not just some, all of them when they were passed, all of them over the years, and they conceded 85% of the dollar amount, 99% of the individuals hit. Tremendous step forward. I mean, it looks like a step backward, but 100 steps forward, 15 steps back in terms of dollar amounts. Who's winning? You play that game a few times, and you're quite far down the field. The good news is that nobody broke their taxpayer protection pledge. We have the majority, almost 95, 96% of all the Republicans in the House, 80, 90% of all the Republicans in the Senate have signed the pledge and kept their pledge not to raise taxes. We were in an odd situation where on January 1st, there was a $500 billion tax increase. On January 2nd, they cut taxes, about 85% of that, moving forward. So as a result, all the Republicans who voted for the fiscal cliff resolution were actually voting for a tax cut, not a tax increase, although if you look back, taxes were higher on some people in the second week of January than they were in the second week of December. The reason why they shouldn't confuse or irritate us too much is that it's never going to happen again. We are never going to be in a position where tax increases are automatic. So we don't have any temporary, there aren't any significant temporary tax cuts moving forward. And so, one, technically it wasn't a tax increase. Two, a lot of Republicans were very unhappy that we didn't make all the tax cuts permanent. That's what they wanted to do. But as long as Obama was president, you didn't have the ability to force that. I was pleasantly surprised at how much progress we did make.